I recently read the book The One Thing by authors Gary Keller and Jay Papasan. Gary is the founder of the largest real estate agency in the United States, Keller Williams. He is also a best-selling author and a successful business coach. Over the years, he's learned to achieve success in a rather unconventional way. You see, after college, Gary got into the real estate industry and was hell-bent on being the best in his field. He bought into the philosophy that if you're going to succeed, you need to juggle many things and take on many responsibilities. Each morning, he would listen to an inspirational theme song just to pump himself up to get ready for the torrent of demands that would come his way. Gary ended up dissipating his energy so far and stretching his attention so thin that he eventually burned out. Gary says, "It got me success and it got me sick. Eventually, it got me sick of success." At that point in his career, he decided to try a different approach. He intentionally started focusing on fewer things. He says, "I challenged the axioms of success, and guess what? I became more successful than I'd ever dreamed possible, and felt better than I'd ever felt in my life." He realized that people achieve success in spite of doing many things, not because they do many things.
As I read through the chapters trying to understand how focusing on less can help you achieve more,
I was reminded of a chart that I came across in the book Quality Software Management by Gerald Weinberg. Gerald studied several software programmers over the course of several years and discovered that a significant percentage of programmers' productivity seemingly vanished when they focused on more than one project during the day. The more projects they took on, the more time seemed to vanish. By taking on 2 projects, they appeared to waste 20% of their day. When they were taking on 5 projects, 80% of their day was completely lost to non-productive activities. Gerald describes that loss in productivity as a result of context switching. Here is a simple exercise to help you understand the side effects of context switching. See how fast you can count from 1 to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that was just under 1 second. Now list the letters in the alphabet from A to E. A, B, C, D, E. That took about the same time. Now try to alternate between counting numbers and sequencing letters.
1A, 2B, 3C, 4D, 5E.
Alternating my focus to complete both tasks took me twice as long as doing each task independently. Now why is that? Both tasks are super easy and familiar to me. Why is there such a significant drop in my performance? Well, the book The One Thing describes that the extra time needed to switch your focus adds up because we need time to make the decision to switch, and we need to remember where we left off before we switched. We also need to recall the rules of executing a particular task. In the case of the software programmers, if a programmer needed to solve problems throughout the day on multiple projects, he or she was forced to spend mental processing power to figure out where they left off and what they needed to do within the constraints of that particular project. Whenever we have more than one priority at any given time, or are asked to manage more than one project throughout the day, we experience the energy-depleting, productivity-destroying effects of switching our focus. To minimize switching costs throughout the day, we need to get good at asking a question when we are tempted to focus on more than one priority at a time. Why a question? Well, questions direct our focus. They engage our critical thinking. When we ask a question, our brain will always try to answer it. Asking better questions allows our brain to come up with better answers. The question that stands at the heart of this book, and at the heart of your moment-by-moment effectiveness, is what one thing can I do such that by doing it, makes everything else easier or unnecessary? Ask this question when you feel anxious or overwhelmed. Ask this question when you feel yourself getting distracted. Ask yourself this question over and over again until you develop laser-like focus.
This question shapes our thinking 2 ways. First, it reminds us that if we want to be a peak performer, there is no such thing as having priorities. There is only one priority, one most important thing in this moment in time. Oftentimes, we think things are equally important because we have so many requests coming our way. A feeling of overwhelm makes everything seem urgent, and we mistake that urgency for importance. When you ask the question, what one thing can I do such that by doing it, everything else will become easier or unnecessary, causes you to pause and break the illusion that just because something feels urgent doesn't mean it's equally as important as everything else. When you ask the question enough, inevitably, one thing will rise to the surface, allowing everything else to fade away. The one thing that rises to the top is often the thing that most contributes to your purpose. Gary says, your purpose is simply the one thing you want your life to be about more than any other. It's what you want to be remembered for at the end of your career and at the end of your life. The second way that this question adjusts your focus is by making you think of the future impact of your actions. It turns out that when you knock over a single domino, it has the ability to knock over a subsequent domino that is 50% greater in size. You want the completion of your one thing to have the same domino effect on future things. You want to take the smallest action right now so that future actions that seem daunting are either easier or unnecessary. For example, let's say your priority is acquiring a new client for your business. Although there are many things that you could do to do this, the first small thing that you could do is 2 minutes of research on that client. That research will enable the eventual meeting to go smoothly, allow you to build rapport with that client, and make acquiring that client much, much easier.
To paraphrase Gary Keller, the key to success isn't doing more, it's doing a few things really well. So stop paying switching costs and start asking the focusing question throughout the day to stay focused on one thing at any given moment. Your goal is to ask the question enough times so you can confidently say, this is where I'm meant to be right now, doing exactly what I'm doing. That was the core message that I gathered from the one thing. If you are finding it hard to accept the fact that you need to focus on less in order to achieve more, I highly recommend picking up the book. If you would like a one-page PDF summary of the other insights that I got from this book, just click the link below and I'd be happy to email it to you. If you already subscribed to the free Productivity Game newsletter, this PDF is sitting in your inbox. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have a productive day.